What's up, everybody? We're waiting for our guy D Gray to come in here. But man, once you guys start trickling in, we got some big news for everybody. This is for me, this is a great day. This is something that's been in the works for the past few weeks, and it's just been awesome. I can't express um like how grateful I am for this opportunity and really what we just experienced, um, and the opportunities that could be coming with this experience. This was awesome. This was great. So in the meantime, while we wait for D, you guys trickle in your questions, and once he gets in here, we'll break the big news to you guys because I mean it's huge. We had a big time guest record today with us. Marcos, I see you. What's up, my guy? But yeah, again, man, this was I'm really speechless on what just happened and what we just experienced. And I know our podcast has made some headlines this past week with no, Marcos, I'm already married. um Yeah, man. I mean, yeah, I know we made some big headlines with the Kevin Dotson interview and his take on Broderick not starting this year. So, I mean, we're moving in the right direction as far as that goes, and like it's been a surreal week for me personally, and this has been awesome. Again, like I said, for you guys trickling in here. Um, ask any questions. And again, for anybody new, we're just um, we're just waiting for we're just waiting for D to come hop in. He should be here any minute, and we will break the amazing news we have for our next episode of the 3 Point Stance podcast. Dad, sorry, you gotta wait. You gotta wait. I mean, you already know. No, you do already know. So I don't know what you want from me because you know. Marcos, I appreciate you, man. You were a big part of what we have created now, and that was with, you were the guy that reached out to D for me, and you got us connected, and we have now gone from the Caleb DGAF show to the Terrible DGAF show to now 3 Point Stance podcast, and we're, I mean, as the Blitzberg Twitter account would say, we are basement media, and I feel attacked because I am in my basement, but it's all right. It is what it is. And I know, Marcos, you were a big guy in defending us and everybody who was on Twitter not citing our content or shouting out our content or anything like that. And I know today, we had Deke from the Arthur Moat Experience with Deke podcast. He made a video with clips of us. So if you guys haven't checked that out today, you go check that out. He released it a few hours ago. Like I said, it was awesome. Let me call D real quick. Let me see. He's taken. I literally just got off of recording with him, and he ain't in here yet. So, you know how them USFL players be. That's my guy, though. That's my guy. Yeah, Colby. You actually, you know what? You know it too. You know it too. All the Steeler Nation knows what just transpired and everything. So it's going to be awesome. Let's see. This is a good question. Who's Steelers' third running back? Which shade of gold is your wall? So I actually Googled what shade of gold the Steelers yellow was, and I took it to Lowe's, and this is what I got. You can't see it. I did this paint job very, very quickly, and now we're here. It's a little bit of a patch job. I probably should repaint it, but it is what it is. I got the idea that I want, the look I'm looking for. As far as the Steelers' third running back, I am really excited about a guy we covered a few episodes ago in Alfonso Graham. I think he has potential to be that third guy. I know once D gets in here, he's a big advocate for Anthony McFarland, his former teammate at Maryland and in Pittsburgh. Like I said, it was great to it's great to see that. I like what Anthony McFarland put on tape last year, so I think it's going to be a battle. Alfonso and Ant Mac have sort of the same film going in and everything like that. Steelers shade of gold is marigold because it's the same shade as City of Pittsburgh logo. Your wall seems to have more white tones. Yeah, I didn't primer this wall. Thanks for calling me out, Robert. I really appreciate it. You're making me feel like I didn't primer it. I was really excited. We just moved in this new house. Before D and I's podcast, I had a little shutter thing around me, and it's nice to have this room now to be able to do this. And I know I used to have the jerseys hanging here. I got some jersey frames for them. That door right there would hit the Highsmith jersey right there. So, it's I had to do some rearranging as far as that, and maybe we'll get some fat heads in there. I know my wife was talking about getting me something for Father's Day for it. I mean, Black Nail thing of the Great Wiz. Yeah, it's we know. It is the song, like I think it was Wesley Saunders on the last episode where I had a one-on-one with him. He talked about, he was like, "Hey, I know it's black and gold, but man, that black and yellow song goes pretty good." How much you want for that Fitzpatrick jersey? So honestly, I won this jersey. It was part of the TSE shops, like random jersey giveaway, and I won that one. And yeah, I don't think I can ever let that go. Minka's hopefully he's a Steeler for life. We're still waiting for my guy Derwin. We are still waiting for him. Let me see if he answers his FaceTime real quick. I see that he read the invite link. I'm really excited to share this news with you guys. I'm keeping the anticipation rising for everybody. I'm keeping it. I'm just keeping it. Like it's huge. It's huge. Sorry, I didn't even read your question. The yellow confused further because there's yellow and third star, and the red, blue, and yellow stars are originally US Steel logo. Yep. Let me feel man. That one is you make yourself feel like. I was joking when I said that, Robert. I didn't take it personally or anything like that. Yeah, I'm the least woke person, I think. I'm more of a go with the flow kind of guy, I just kick it and I go. But yeah, man, again, like I said, still waiting. 10 minutes later. Marco's calling out my guy Derwin. He said he's taking he's been, if you guys don't follow Derwin on Instagram, he is he's very big on his fashion. And that's why we love him. That is why we love him. Let me send him a message again. Waiting. Yeah, again, hit him back up again. You know how, like I said, you know how our athletes and fashion stars are. Um, he's trying to make a grand entrance into the live stream. But again, until we announce the big news, keep the questions. Oh, look at that! Look at that! Look who we got! Look who we got! We got him! We got him!
We in the building. We in the building.
Man, Derwin, I have been telling these people. I haven't told them who, but I told them we got some big news for everybody, and we've been
Oh,
waiting for you to come on and share this news.
another one. That's all we got to say is another one. Man, I really
DJ
want to tell
Khaled.
y'all so bad. I really want to tell y'all who it is, man. But I think we should hold off, man.
I think we should
Hold off to. We got to hold off, man. Let these guys really tune in to the 3-point stance to see how we rolling, man. It's crazy, man. Like just to see where we going to, man, and seeing how we are being the main source of still news right now, man. Like we having the best action, man. So I mean, no shots and no other Steelers multimedia platforms out there. There are tons of them, but right now, man, we killing the game. We back.
Like and that's what I was talking about. Like we've been making some news on like Steelers Twitter at least, and now
Right.
a lot of YouTube channels are coming out with content. You and I created in last week's episode with Kevin Dotson. Like
It's only going up.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, I don't like y'all trickling in the comments. We'll see how bad you guys want this news. I'm telling you though, it's big time, and it's only getting bigger because we got another guest tomorrow that is that's big topic, big name. Just like we had today. It's
Man, I just want all y'all guys, man, to continue to support the 3-point stance, man, and continue to go out there, man, and write comments, man. Things you want to see, people you want to hear from, man. Because right now we have an ability to reach a lot of people right now, and we forever grateful for that, man. The opportunity to be able to reach some of these people in that, and just trusting our process that we here to just have fun, man, and chop it up with you guys. Where, like I said, I told people we are athlete friendly and regular person friendly. Like you don't have to play sports, man. Like to have you on our show, man. So at some point we want to start to get some non-athlete guys on here too, man. Some of you guys that comment in the comments, man, we'd love to start having you guys on some of these shows, man, to make this a little more interesting.
yeah, get a not just having one fan perspective in a show. Let's get let's aim for something where we can get multiple fans perspective. Obviously, like
Right.
when that time, if and when that time comes for anybody watching, there is a limit to the amount of things we'll want you to say, and everything like that. But I mean, other than that, actually, you know what? Let's have people in the comment section. What do you think? You think we should have them guess who we had today?
Guess away. Guess away. I mean,
I
I just know they're gonna have.
Yeah, my dad just said send it. He already knows because obviously I gotta tell him. I gotta tell him the news.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you're not allowed to comment in the section at all. So yeah, that's Dad, you're grounded. I don't know. It's finally I get to say that. Oh, Marco, our boy Marco said, how was the photo shoot? The fashion, he's referring to your Fashion Nova.
It's amazing, man. Fashion Nova is a great place to be.
Well, we got a really good question here. We are not afraid to criticize anybody on this show. What do you think last year when he didn't throw the red flag in a? You talking about Carolina when you say Carr? I mean, I'll go. You're talking about a challenge flag and Mike Tomlin. They are worst enemies. They do not get along. If we think it's right and Tomlin finally throws the flag, the NFL disagrees with us, and they're being said that it ends up not going our way. So it's rough. It's rough, and as you know, a former Steeler as in yourself, you can attest to some plays in the past where a challenge flag should have been thrown or was thrown, and it should have gone our way, but it didn't go our way.
Man, Tomlin's a super aggressive guy, man. He just want to beat you straight, square up, man. He's not a guy that's going to be looking for trickery, man. He's a guy that wants to go straight at you. So if a flag, if it's gray, he's never going to throw it. If anything is gray, unless it's 100%, we know that happened. If it's gray, it's like we get it right back. You know what I mean? So that's a little insight behind Mike T's mindset.
Let's see. He followed that up with when the head coach doesn't know when to throw a red flag or not, and Doug support clock management. Poor clock management. Okay, you're clear. You're watching on your phone because that's auto. This is autocorrect at its finest. Management and fans don't mention it. That's a problem. I will tell you, as far as Steeler fans on Twitter, they are in fact savages, and they call out Mike Tomlin anytime he throws a flag or even throws a challenge flag that he shouldn't throw. It's I mean, it's hard to argue. Like, I get the challenge flag thing. It's hard to argue with God, what am I? A head coach that doesn't have a losing record on his resume. It is. You know, we haven't seen the Super Bowls that we wanted to see, but you know, he's still putting it out there. He's still putting out the wins. Every year we're in the playoff hunt. So I mean, yes, there's been some challenge flags that he should have thrown back in the day that probably would have won us some games. Maybe in years that we were on the threshold of making the playoffs, maybe that challenge flag gets us into the playoffs. But you know, like what Mike T always says, you know, gosh, what is it? I can't think of it off the top of my head. What's he say after every the standard is a standard? We didn't uphold the standard. There we go. It's just that, you know, and you know, he holds himself well to it. You know, we're, in my opinion, we are blessed to have Mike Tomlin as our coach. I think there's much darker places to be in as far as head coach wise, where we could be in a terrible spot, like the way he managed last season with Kenny and Mitch and post Ben era. He handled it beautifully. I mean, what do you think, D?
I agree, man. I think that Tomlin just built on professionalism, man. He built on just being top tier, man. Not just owning your work, man. I think that's has always been his mindset when it came to players, coaches, janitors around the building. He's always owned his work, and I'm saying, and treat everybody with respect. So that's just kind of how he built, man. And he treat the business like settings the same as he does his real life. So. Man, he's an incredible coach to ever play for, man. He's probably still, my hands down, the best coach I ever played for. You have Mike Graywood, still a great coach because, once again, he played time in the league, so he understands the game as well. But, man, Mike T, man, is just a special type of guy, man. And it's hard to really try to get that mimic of Mike T around the league somewhere else because nothing like him.
Yeah, I agree. Before we get to Robert's next statement, he also said sorry for the text typos because he is doing voice to text. So that is his. we all know how the computers, phones, everything like that can be. We've had many interviews that have fallen through because of, you know, said issues. But Marcos, he's got his first guest in our special guest for today's episode that we recorded. His guest was Mason Rudolph for David DeCastro.
Wow, pretty good ones.
That means Marcos is watching because you were texting Mason the other day. But I am sad to tell you that is not it. That's not it. It's not close. David DeCastro is a great player. In my opinion, this person was an even greater player. But we'll keep it going. Let's see. Robert is going off in these comments. And by the way, if any of you are watching on Twitter and are commenting, asking questions, making guesses, for some reason I cannot see your comments on my end. So if you want to hop over to the Steelers Nation Multimedia YouTube page, hop in there, and we will be able to trickle in your questions and answer them as we can. So with Robert, he says, Mike Tomlin's best coach in NFL history throughout every offseason and during every 5 week and 6.5 days a week when the game counts. So I'm guessing that half a day and that 7 days a week he's referring to games. So, and again, like we all said, we all have our frustrations. We know how Mike T likes to coach the game, essentially. I mean, we should be used to it by now. It's been 15, 16 years, 17 years. It's been some time now. And like I said, and I look back on a lot of the things that either I've said or fans have said, and then I just revert back to how he managed to go from 2-6 to 9-8 last year, and without Ben, and after the bye week, revitalizing everybody. And Robert did bring up bye week Tomlin is best. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I'm going into. So let's see. My dad has a question for you, D. He said D can speak to it better, but I've always seen Tomlin as a better motivator than an X and O type coach. With that said, we have one of the best coaches in the league.
I think Tomlin, I mean, he's great at both, to be honest. I mean, Tomlin just has a great grit to his voice that gets you fired up. He has like a nice tone, grit to his voice that gets you really, really fired up to go play. And it's very short and sweet, man. It's very motivational. It's not a lot of words when he tells you anything. It's like real short and sweet and gets right to the point, man. And you just understand everything he said and you just go execute. X and O's, of course, he's the head coach. He don't call a lot of X and O's, but he has a great football knowledge of defense. And, man, he's just a great guy, man, when it comes overall. So I think he's a two-headed monster, to be honest.
Yeah, sorry, hold on. I'll send it. I sent a text to you. I don't even remember what it was now. Oh no, it was to our editor for the episode. But yeah, I mean, D, like you said, D says it best. It's he's been in that locker room. He's experienced the game day talks, and then as far as there's another one, Robert said. Brian is right that Mike Tomlin's best is saying little barb jabs at players to motivate them. And that's a good thing you brought up, Robert, because in the one-on-one interview I had with former Steelers tight end Wesley Saunders, who I had live on here a few days ago, he brought up a moment like that when the day before he scored his first touchdown was a Sunday night game against the Kansas City Chiefs. And he said in the Saturday night meetings that Tomlin has every single week before a game, he said, what did he say? He said he was talking about like the likes of James Harrison and all their, A-plus players. And then he specifically said, Wes Saunders isn't going to go win us a game today or tomorrow or whatever. Lo and behold, Wesley Saunders scored the touchdown in that game that won us the game. And that was his first NFL touchdown. And, it's like you know, for most people that may seem like a jab at somebody, like, oh, you know, why am I here? Like, you're on the 53-man roster for a reason. Tomlin believes in every 53 guys on that roster, including practice squad guys. And that's just his way to motivate. I'm sure D can speak from experience to that if you want to bounce off of that.
I feel like Tomlin's always motivated guys, even practice squad guys, to go out there and compete and find a role, man, and find a way that they contribute to the team, man, because there's only so much TJ Watt can do. There's only so much Ben could have did back in the day. We need other guys to step up and help. But you need those key pillars and TJ and all those guys to be the pillars that hold it all together. But you need those guys to step up and play their role to the best of their ability to help the team continue to move that train. So once again, man, Chom has always been a great motivator, man. I don't think that's all he is. I think he does have a lot of great football experience and knowledge and smartness to the game. Because, you can have all the motivational speaking skills all you can want, but if you don't know X and O's, you won't be a good coach in this league. So, to that statement, I think he's still a great X and O coach. He knows how to dial up great blitzes. He knows how to get after the quarterback. He knows how to recruit great coverage DBs to continue to keep those passing, catching, or yards after catch percentages down for the receivers on the opposing team and all that, man. So I think it has a lot to go into him more than just motivational speaking. Thomas has a great grit to his voice. He has that madness to his voice that gets people fired up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's
Let's go.
he's an
Let's
alpha.
go, man.
Yeah, he's
100%.
an alpha. As far as everybody can know, we all know the standard is the standard. You know, it's it has. Sorry, I'm making sure everything is set on this YouTube end for us. That's all good now. Okay. Yeah, like I said, you know, Mike Tom, I think somebody actually, Robert again is in here. He is going away. Robert, if you are talking and driving at the same time, please be safe. That is, hey, he brought up a good point. You know, the only season that matters is the postseason. And yeah, you are correct. And, you know, luckily enough,
That's 100%.
I don't know.
That's 100%. That's false. The only season that matters is all the seasons, because if you don't do what you have to do in the regular season, you won't ever see the postseason. So you can't play to the postseason. You have to play through the season to the postseason. So, but I understand your point, Robert. Postseason, once you get there, you got to finish business. You can't get to the postseason and stop there. So I understand the significance behind your statement there.
Let's see. Here's another one. He said, if the team goes 17-0 but does not win a playoff game, then it did not have a winning season or a non-losing season. Yeah, you know, as a speaking from the Steelers fans, yeah. So D's reiterating what I would say. It's like, yeah, if you go 17-0, look at the Patriots. The year they went undefeated and made it to the Super Bowl and then lost to the Giants. In my opinion, all the NFL playoffs is which team is the hottest at that moment. You can revert that back to the 2005 Steelers when they were the first 6th seed in NFL history to go from 6th seed to Super Bowl champion. And they were riding a winning streak. They were healthy. You got to be healthy and hot going into the playoffs. And that's like the bye week is nice. But my personal opinion as a fan, I don't know if D can attest to this or not, but the bye week is nice, but it could get you out of that groove that you were in the past weeks if you have that bye week rather than playing in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, I agree. The bye week sometimes could be a blessing and a curse. Some guys could be banged up leading up to that weekend, need that extra week off, need that week off before somebody get their body back rejuvenated. And also could be like when you just catch fire and you have to go take a break now, and now you have to rekindle that thing when you get back, and it might just not be kindled the same way it was before that bye week. So it depends what type of team you had. And for instance, when me and Pittsburgh that year we went like 12-0. I think it was my second year with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we went like 12-0 when we was doing the Corvette TikTok all over everybody logos and stuff like that. I just felt like that year right there, like we needed that bye week, but it didn't slow us down at all. So,
a fun fact about that Corvette, I was scrolling through D's TikTok, and him and I actually posted a video. This was years before D and I even knew each other or started this thing together. The same exact day, I did a TikTok of the Corvette during that said season. And this was, I think you did it a week or two before the Steelers surprisingly let you go due to linebacker injuries and everything like that.
yeah.
But you did the Corvette one last time. But anyways, we posted that video the same day. Yeah. We posted that video the same day.
Time.
Yeah, and I don't think I ever told you that, but yeah, we posted that video the same exact day, and it's just a funny coincidence now. I mean, I know it's TikTok, so there was many people who were posting that video during that time, during the Steelers TikTok era. Shout out Juju, shout out Chase Claypool.
At this point, yeah.
Yeah, so let's man, Robert, you were going in on these comment sections on YouTube.
Well, man, I had to get the treatment, man. Everybody, man, I appreciate it, dog. Like, man, I had to jump in for a little bit, man. But please, man, be on the lookout either tomorrow or Wednesday. I'm not sure exactly the day. Stay locked into our Twitter. Please stay locked into our Twitter accounts, man. And make sure you head over to 3 Point Stance on Instagram as well to stay up to date, man, for our new news, who we have on our shows, possibilities, and more. But with that being said, man, if you go check us out on Instagram and Twitter, man, you'll probably figure out who it is by tonight, who's on the show. So go give us those DMs, those follows, man. You might figure it out tonight who it might be. Once again, man, I'm still currently an athlete, so I will take care of my body and get ready for a good week of practice tomorrow. And, man, can't wait to see y'all, boys, next week. Peace.
Bye, D. We're not going to tell you. We're not going to tell you.
Still ain't gonna.
Let's see. Yeah, again, as to many, I'm just as surprised as you guys are. I expected us to tell you this big news, but my co-host and good friend, Derwin Gray, has other plans for that news. So we're going to go with that narrative. But I can tell you a little bit about the episode and just for me, how awesome it was. I mean, it's a guy that I watched get drafted when I was in tech school in the Air Force many years ago. And it was, like I said, it was awesome. I had a hard time keeping my emotions in. I'm a very emotional person. Man, it was so fun. Robert, I see your question. You are just rattling them off. I'm going to get to your questions. I'm also going to ask anybody else watching to continue asking questions. Continue with your guesses on who we had on today's episode, and you can even guess who we're going to have on tomorrow's episode. Granted, when I say today and tomorrow, I'm just referring to the recording of these episodes, and those episodes get posted at a later date. But again, this episode and this next episode, they're going to be huge names, big time people. Like I said, it's been awesome. It's been a blessing to see. Let's see. All right, no disrespect, Robert, but Mark, you are venting about Mike Tomlin right now. Let's see. Let's go back. Where was I? You had just said there's a lot here. We talked about 17-0. The minimum required to be a non-losing team is to win one playoff game, and minimum required to have a winning season. Yeah. No, look, from my perspective, I agree with you. if you don't win the Super Bowl, I mean, it's a losing season. I mean, that's like I see all your comments and everything like that, and I will just put it into my best perspective that if you don't win the Super Bowl, it's a losing season. It doesn't matter you made the Super Bowl. It doesn't matter if you made it to the AFC Championship game, NFC Championship game. It's a grind, and you can have like as far as last season goes, we did have a rookie quarterback. I do think if that Steelers team made the playoffs last year, they would have made some noise. Yeah, that's a hard one. You are giving you are just Robert. You're doing good with these questions. Keep them coming. I try and stay on the positive side of things. But again, we'll see what happens this year. They've made a lot of moves, which we talk about with our special guest on this next soon to be latest episode of the 3 Point Stance podcast. And as D said, if you have Instagram and you are watching, go follow us at 3point_stance on Instagram. We will have a Twitter page at some point. And I guess now that hang on. While we're on that topic of the 3 Point Stance podcast, with our latest episode with Kevin Dotson, what are your guys' thoughts on that episode that have watched or anything like that? Because I've seen a lot of negative towards Kevin about his comments, and I just want to speak for me personally. The way that it has been taken, I do not think. No, actually, I'm not going to say I don't think. I know that is not the way he came across. If you haven't seen it, it's been headlined amongst Steelers social media, at least between the Twitter account that will not be named because we don't give shout outs around here to people who don't give us shout outs. But, like Kevin's a great guy. Don't hate on him for speaking his truth. It's again, I will reiterate, that was a great person. It was a great time having him on. We are a podcast that wants to have the players come on and enjoy their time. And so far, that's been our feedback from players. And we don't ask the typical questions that everybody asks them, or like for our latest guest, they asked this latest guest about a specific thing over and over and over and over again. Like you want to get away from that. You want to make that person feel comfortable, and the way we aim our podcast to be is to just be laid back, like you're just talking with the boys. That was my goal when I started this journey, and D and I had the same mindset coming into this, and we continue that. So, like I said, don't hate on Kevin for his honest comments, and he understands, like, as far as the business side of things with the Steelers, he's not being this or that are people are calling him for saying what he said. He understands the business side of it. He grew up a Steelers fan, guys. You got to remember that. Like his blood runs black and gold. But once you make it to that level, there is a business side to it, and everything like that. And again, let me see. I'll see if I can get any other members of Steeler Nation in here to kind of help ask questions and answer questions. Anyone who wants to. I'm going to get to your question. I see I have a new comment. Sorry. Let's see. Let's go. On paper, we are much improved from last year's 9-8 team. I think 11 wins is possible this year, barring any significant injuries. What do you think about this year's win total? Well, clearly my dad has not been watching every episode of 3 Point Stance because D and I had an episode where we talked about this, where D said we would be 9-8 again. I heavily disagreed with him, called him out for it, everything like that. I had us close to 12 to 13 wins. So yeah, I'm thinking 12-5, 13-4 with the makeup of the team, barring any injuries, knock on wood. I think we can get there. I think we make noise. And what's crazy to think is that record we still could be a wild card team with that record. Because I'll be honest, Cincinnati's a team. Yeah, I'll say Baltimore and Cleveland, they could be a good team, but we got their number when it comes to their new quarterback, or not new quarterback, but their MVP quarterback, and we all know about the Cleveland Clowns, so and who they decided to bring in. Four times Super Bowl plus. Chuck Noll was criticized, but you're afraid to criticize. Equals very lame. I'm not afraid to criticize Mike Tomlin. I've openly said that I am. Like my dad's in these comments. We can talk about like what I have said about Mike Tomlin, what we have said about Mike Tomlin. I'm not afraid to criticize him. But again, I am also not naive to the fact that Mike Tomlin is a great head coach. Yeah, he makes mistakes, and I mean, like I don't I don't understand who hurt you today. I'm trying to be real. I'm trying to be honest, but it just seems like I'm very open to criticizing Mike Tomlin and coaching. I'm not having. Sorry, I was reading comments again, so I lost my train of thought. So, Isaiah Clark can't wait till K-Dot leaves. K-Dot can't play. Buddy is horrible. I don't think he's horrible. I really don't. I don't think he is. He showed it in the later part of the season. He's again. I don't think he's I don't think he's horrible by any means. I think he would probably start on most NFL teams in this day and age. You got to think what they were going through last year. They had a new offensive line coach. They had two new faces. If you consider 3 new faces, because that was Kevin's first time being a full-time starter for the whole season. It's there's a lot that factors into their play style, and if it like Robert said, Mike Tomlin's the greatest bye week coach of all time. He did have a point in saying that. I don't know if I brought that comment up, but I did read something about that. He was like I said, he's good at Xing and Oing during that time frame, and lo and behold, that is when the Steelers start to get rolling. Is after that bye week, offensive line starts gelling. They're getting more used to what their offensive line coach is asking for. Let's see. You're thinking of Dan Moore. He was the false start machine, and Kevin, I'd have to look at it, but I don't remember his number being called a lot. I know we got called a lot for illegal men downfield, which was crazy because I can't remember the last 10 years if we had that same amount of illegal men downfield called. Noby. Yes, I agree. I do. I mean, so I think Peter Schrager said on Good Morning Football, It may not have been Good Morning Football. Somebody said it somewhere on some TV show that you got to remember that our whole division went 3-3 against each other. It was, I mean, it's a dead heat in this division. We, in my opinion, have the best division in the NFL, and that's even saying the AFC West in that. And it hurts me to say that because I lived in Missouri for 7 years. I had to deal with Chiefs fans and the uprise from the Alex Smith days to the Pat Mahomes days. Let's see. This is something I was kind of, he struggles against us, and let's hope that continues. Again, until he can beat us throwing, I think it's going to continue in this direction. I hope it continues in this direction. Yeah, I agree with you. Say you won the season, then you must win the Super Bowl. To say you have a winning season, then you must win. See, then I think like you can have successful seasons, and you can have a winning season for me obviously is winning the Super Bowl. And I know what I said. Mike T hasn't had a losing season statistically. Yes. But obviously my expectations every year is Super Bowl or bust. So unless you win the Super Bowl, how many fan bases are talking about this though? It's like we don't want to be that team like, oh, well, we made it this far. We're better than you. Yeah, it's good bragging rights if you make it further than your division opponents. But at the end of the day, the main goal is the Super Bowl. And I know Mike Tomlin has said in the past, if you're not winning the Super Bowl, or like even Kevin Colbert or Omar Khan will say, if you're not in the Super Bowl, then what was the point? Because like Tomlin preaches, standard, and the standard is Super Bowls. So, we got to catch up to Tom Brady. That man's got 7. So, let's see. Let's roll down. There's a lot of questions in here. That's a good question. If somebody can answer this question in the actually, you know what? I'll look it up. Even though we don't really, Kevin, or what am I thinking? For offensive snap played, he was tied for 6th. Penalties says tied for 2nd. His overall grade, there we go, 65.4. It doesn't give a ranking amongst starters with that because I am not going to purchase their membership or whatever because the PFF sort of Steelers biased. This year they've kind of leaned towards the Steelers, but no, but you bring up a good point. Kevin not is bad, just had some bad moments. Our fans turn on you really quick. A lot of people probably didn't watch the full pod. Yeah, I agree. And a lot of people didn't even watch it. I mean, we got, good numbers on the video and everything like that. But a lot of people are going off of the comments, and like, it's one thing reading a quote from what somebody said off of these pages that aren't, citing their sources or shouting out their sources or anything like that. But you got to hear it from Kevin. You got to hear what led up to Kevin saying that. You got to hear what was past Kevin saying that. That's why I like when I hate texting. I hate all that kind of stuff because you don't know how the other person is portraying that message, especially like in this day and age, emojis are a big thing. I'm the heavy, like if I'm texting something, I put an emoji with it, or an LOL or whatever with it to know kind of where I'm at with that general conversation. No time. Plus, have never been fired. Oh, Robert, I'm gonna say, man. I know there's a lot more comments from you in here, but just of what I have put out here, it's kind of leaned in that direction. Um, and that's like I just said, as a perfect example is, it's hard to see how somebody's portraying something through text rather than talking, and everything like that. Yeah, exactly. No, and that's when the narrative started getting pushed out there that Kevin was you know, being a crybaby or for whatever they were saying about him. I think a few days after everything kind of made some headlines and everything like that, I posted the clip on Twitter. For those of you who have Twitter, go follow me at Caleb KALEB DGAF. Because you'll find that video, you'll find the clip of what I said and what Kevin said and how he presented himself, because it wasn't in that manner. He's a guy who puts his head down and he fights for everything he goes for. And again, us as fans need to know that Kevin was a fan of the Steelers before his playing days with the Steelers, so he's working his butt off to get to be the best player possible. Sorry for the delay. I'm pretty sure I have ADD, ADHD, where I'm trying to figure out what I am trying to say in the moment. Yeah, I see where you're coming from, Robert. As far as in game, I think we all ask a lot of questions, and a lot of these coaches have numerous amount of people coming to them or going to them. Like you brought up the challenge flags. There's numerous teams that have people for that department that'll call down to the head coach. Like it's not all just because obviously he can't see everything. But to fix that, if I remember correctly, these past few years we haven't had a guy in that role to be like, hey, you need to throw a challenge flag here. Tomlin goes off his instincts and everything, which has everything to do with the way he coaches, which is he goes with the in-game feel and everything like that. Nobi, I don't know if Kevin was. I know Mason Cole was hurt with his ankle. I don't know of many injuries with Kevin last year, but again, I could be wrong. But I do know Mason Cole was dealing with an ankle injury last year. Yeah, Marco. Yeah, I agree. It did get way better. The cohesion of the offensive line, and that's where, I'm talking about the coaching involved. They had a new O line coach. They're learning a new method. They're learning that person to their right or left. As far as the terminology amongst the offensive line, because in like we asked Kevin in that episode, like who's the leader of the offensive line room? He talked about James Daniels, and I'll admit that was a little bit to my surprise. I was expecting it to be Mason Cole with the way he's portrayed to us. It's you kind of think your center would be kind of like the center is really the quarterback of the offensive line. But it's good to see that there is a leader, and he compared it to the Marquise Pouncey days where, I mean, I don't know if there's a better leader amongst offensive linemen or for a team like Marquise Pouncey and the stuff he was able to do, the way he coached things. I mean, D could attest to that because he played with Marquise. He was there with Marquise and talked about how he practiced. Even when they're doing walkthrough drills, Marquise going game speed, everything like that. And it's that kind of stuff that gets you to where you want to be. Sorry, I'm reading these comments. I think that's what. Oh, I think you're right. He did have one in the preseason. I think we all know that it was an open competition, but we knew who was going to win that job at the end of the day. Marcos, you didn't miss it because when we had D come on here, he said you guys have to stay tuned. And I'm not going to not agree with my co-host, but I can promise you it is a big time guest. I wouldn't be here. The title of this live stream wouldn't be 3 Point Stance Big News if it wasn't. But again, I'm not the type of guy. I'm not going to stump my co-host toes or anything like that for that matter. And Marcos, I know you've been a ride or die since day one. And again, I appreciate you. It's means a lot, especially for you helping D and I get together and do this. Noby412, thank you. It is a HyperX mic. When I started this journey, my dad, because I had one of those like $20 mics when I first started, but he believed in what I was doing and believed that I could eventually lead to something like this. And, he helped invest into, as Pat Max would see, the program. What? Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Again, all we care about is it's a failed season if we're not in the postseason making some noise. I agree. I'm not disagreeing with you or anything like that. It's again. I'm laughing because we call my son No Bed, but it's pronounced like Roby. So hold on. Now I'm very curious on why is it pronounced like Roby but it's spelled with an N? No beat. That's what I've been saying. I've been saying no beat. Did I say no bet at some point? I don't think so. Unless it can't. E is silent. E is how's Nobe? Nobe. Tell me yes or no. Nobe? I'm on my toes figuring out if I said his name right. Nobe? Is it Nobe? Nobe. Nobe. Ah, yeah, we got it. We got it. It's Nobe. So I apologize on my end. But since we have you guys here, you know, let's talk about a topic with Calvin Austin. And I don't know if you guys follow the All Things Covered podcast with Bryant McFadden and Patrick Peterson, but Patrick Peterson openly said how fast Calvin Austin is. Do you guys expect him to make some noise this year? Because I know for a fact that I do. I am a big fan of Calvin Austin, his game. I think I've said it on the live show and on the podcast many times that I believe he's a guy who can be a difference maker as far as that speed. We haven't had that speed in a very long time, effectively since Mike Wallace. You know, we thought Drew Archer was that guy. And not only, like, I think Pat Pete even said, like, there's guys that are fast that don't know how to use their speed, but Calvin's a guy who's fast, knows how to run routes, and knows how to use his speed in those routes. So, I mean, what do you guys think? Nope, said it, and yeah, B-Wall Brandon. He's been on here before, and he's been on the Twitter Spaces and everything like that. He reiterates what you just said. I mean, he's got different speed. I know he was clocked at a 4.32 last year, but that guy's faster than that. Can't convince me otherwise. Like, I know we hate those jet sweeps when they don't work, but it seems like with Calvin Austin, there's a good chance that they will all work because of how fast he is. And you gotta love that. Like Nobe said, he's at training camp each summer, so he saw the Calvin Austin bow up to the defensive player of the year at that time in a training camp practice, and he's got that dog in him and everything like that. I think his route running surprise people, and team won't know how to go. Yeah, I agree, and again, like I've said, you know, he, in my opinion, coming in the last year's draft was a top 3, top 5 route runner in that draft class. I mean, you could go back to the Senior Bowl tape and what he was doing to those guys. I mean, he was getting major separation. It's speed kills, and when you know how to use it, it really kills. Again, yeah, you guys comment anything you guys want about Calvin Austin. We can talk about the avatar cornerbacks as they're now labeled, and Corey Trice, Joey Porter Jr., which the talks of Corey Trice, I have really high hopes for him. Maybe he can be a Tariq Woolen for us, who I wanted last year in the draft. But man, can you imagine outside cornerback set with 6'3" Corey Trice and 6'2", 6'3" Joey Porter Jr.? I mean, they're like, that size is comparable to Richard Sherman and Brandon Browner, but the twist is they are way more athletic than those two. Oh, yeah, no, yeah, Pickens can move, man. I agree with you. Unlike you, I have not been able to, or yeah, I think I said that right. Unlike you, I haven't been able to see George Pickens live or in person. Sadly, I have yet to be able to make it to Latrobe for a training camp or anything like that, and that's definitely a life goal for me. Um, and with the way our podcast is, trending right now, that's something that I would like to be able to do at some point in time and then give you guys the firsthand details for those who can attend. That firsthand knowledge, really. And again, man, we appreciate everybody's support for this podcast and with Steeler Nation and everything like that. Yeah, no, if you're at training camp and there's no training camp, I don't think I'll be able to make training camp this year. Hopefully in the next year or two, I'll be able to make it down there. But yeah, follow me on Twitter. I'll follow you back. Again, it's at Caleb, Kaleb, DJF. I'll follow you back. And yeah, we would love to use that content come the time, as long as, D isn't a part of a training camp, which we hope he is. We want nothing but the best for Derwin, and hopefully, that training camp is at St. Vincent, so the occasional episodes he will be able to tune in on are based off of training camp and what he sees firsthand too. But yeah, we will gladly take your clips. We'll give you the shout outs you need and deserve, and yeah, I mean, we'll give credit where credit's due when that time comes. I know there was one Twitter account last year that was at training camp. He was posting all these videos of training camp videos, and he got like 10,000 followers in 2 days because he was doing that. It's it's the nature of the beast. What's the most relevant at the time. And again, like the E is an A, so DGAF. If you understand that acronym, I guess that would be right. I wasn't the most educated in school, but yeah, it's DGAF. But yeah, I'm excited about George Pickens. That dude has the potential to be a top five receiver in the league. If he can get like that Deontay Johnson route running ability, man, dude's gonna be special. And he's got the perfect size. And what's funny is, like, if you think about all the years Ben would ask for like that 6'3", 6'3" or 6'2" taller receiver. And now you look at it, because he had plaques. Linus Sweet obviously never panned out. He had some tall guys here and there, but man, I bet you he would be salivating at this receiver room right now with Allen Robinson, George Pickens, Miles Boykin, Hakeem Butler. I mean, the majority of that offensive line. Sorry, that's what we've been talking about for the last, or I guess now 2 hours ago with our guest. Yeah, the receiver room would be Ben's dream. Obviously, he had Antonio Brown, who's still, probably the greatest. If it would have panned out, he would have been the greatest receiver of all time. Yeah, again, and like Dee said, that is something we will look into, is as far as getting, fans' perspective, getting fans on the show, and everything like that. Because I mean, I understand the best. I'm a fan myself. It'd be good to get those after game reactions or day after reactions from a fan's perspective for weeks that we can't get a player perspective or former player's perspective or anything like that. Again, yeah, man. Man, you don't know how good it feels to be. Yeah, I agree. I'm so thankful being a Steelers fan, and I think it was when I started watching football. A Christmas present I got was the Steelers history, and this was, I want to say, the season before or the season of the year we won Super Bowl 40. But it was the entire Steelers history about those 4 Super Bowls, and it led all the way up until Ben getting drafted. And I've lived and breathed it since then, and it's been a fun ride, and I love it to death. Thank you for finding my questions. Striker's usually who I ask questions. He's used to my outside of the box thinking. I know it probably sounds harsh to you. It doesn't necessarily sound harsh to me. Maybe I don't want to say you were commenting too much because we love comments. Yeah, no, I'll get used to you. I again, I don't think they were harsh or anything like that. Again, yeah, Striker's awesome. I think I said on the last live I was on, 'cause somebody was asking about him. I think it was Brian Davis. He was saying, like, where's Striker? I miss him and everything like that. He ain't gone. Striker's not gone. He's still here. Still doing great things for Steeler Nation. And he's really been a great person for me to fall back on whenever I have questions. Yeah, he's great. Love him to death. Again, I sincerely, I did love all your questions. Yeah, and again, didn't think they were too harsh or anything like that. I think you're just speaking the mind of any Steelers fan on really any given day. Let's see, even you like to. Yeah, I'm the same way. That's kind of like, that's watching like the Arthur Moats Experience with Deke, the Pat McAfee show, and everything like that. Did my mouse just die? No. And everything like that. And that's kind of what inspired me to want to do something like this, speak my mind, and didn't expect it to. My hope was it would lead to something and be able to have some sort of platform to speak on and everything like that. But yeah, the host of Terrible Tailgate, Kevin Adams, that was another guy I've watched where he came from before the Terrible Tailgate, and where he's led to now, where he's the host of the Steel Here podcast, which broke the Le'Veon Bell news. There's a lot of people I can thank for this process and everything like that. Marcos, appreciate the shout out. Sorry, I was reading comments. Yeah, appreciate the shout out. Again, you've been a day one supporter, even back to when it was just me, and you helped me get guests on the show. You've helped. I'll never forget Chris Rainey. You said he asked for like $20 or $50 to come on. I was like, you weren't that much of a guy to get, $50 from me, Love being from Pittsburgh. Feel like I'm paid for this team. I agree. I agree with you. And me personally, I was not born in Pittsburgh. I was born in Columbus, Ohio. My dad is the one who got me into Steelers football. I'm an Ohio State fan. that's the one guess I'll leave you guys with for our guest is Columbus, Ohio. That's all I'm going to leave for you. I'm not saying the person's from Columbus, Ohio, but there's something to do with Columbus, Ohio in there. That's funny. Chris Rainey, you're referring to Chris Rainey. He was not as fast as Calvin Austin. Dwight Stone, that sounds like it a little bit before my day and age. Speed alone doesn't mean they'll be great players, though. And Calvin Austin proven themselves not to be terrible in NFL so far. You can't really knock them for, you can't really knock these guys for injuries. If it's in his case, it was one injury. He doesn't have a stockpile of them. He was a guy who was a go-getter, battled through injuries at Memphis and everything like that. I think it's too soon to say that he's not to be durable in the NFL. Can't knock him for an injury. Injuries happen. It's part of the game. Let's see. Chris Rainey could have done some things here. Yeah, I was excited about Chris Rainey. He could move, but again, I disagree with Robert. I don't think Chris Rainey is faster than Calvin Austin. I think Calvin Austin, he has that. Like he started off on a track scholarship at Memphis and then walked on. Nobody's hyping him up like that. We're hyping up his speed. I'll say we're hyping up his speed as an all-time great because he does have that kind of speed. There's not much else to say. I get what you're getting at. You're talking about like he doesn't have the NFL tape out there or anything like that. He didn't play a preseason game last year. Yeah, I get that. I get all that. I'm just saying he has top speed in the NFL. And we've heard it from future Hall of Famer Patrick Peterson that he has speed, and not only does he has the speed, he knows how to use it. And Patrick Peterson's not going to go out of his way to go and say something like that if he didn't mean it. That's coming from a future Hall of Famer, Robert. So that's kind of where I'm getting, that source from. And I'm excited to see him get on the field because, there's a good chance that it doesn't, I wouldn't say good chance, but there's a chance that it doesn't transpire into what we think it will be. So I get it. I get it. No, but yeah, I'm jealous. I live out in Colorado. D and I are planning on coming out to a terrible tailgate this year, to a Steelers game. So if you're on Twitter and don't follow like the Terrible Tailgate page or anything like that, or Kevin Adams or the Steeler Nation page, which I'm assuming you do because you are on the YouTube channel. So, I'm jealous. Hope to meet some of you guys at the tailgate when we do go. We will announce it when we will be there, and we hope to meet a lot of you guys there. He will be open a lot, Robert. Just stay tuned. I know I've seen it firsthand, so I agree. I'm excited to see it. Yeah, and Nob and I we're on the same brain wavelength right now. So if there's any other questions that you guys have for me or anybody you would like for us to try and reach out to try and come on the show, I will tell you there's no promises. It's a grind. like I said, Kevin Dotson, I was messaging for about a year, and then one day he randomly decided to look at his message requests and got lucky enough to see that, and yeah. For YouTube content, so I will speak on this. For the 3-point stance, we do have a YouTube page. It's at 3-point stance. We don't post our full videos on there quite yet. We are still posting them to the Steelers Nation multimedia page. We do post reels on the 3-point stance page and all that kind of fun stuff. Eventually we'll get to the full videos being posted on there. We're just trying to, kind of build up our following for subscribers on that page and everything. And then both pages will have an episode of the 3-point stance as far as Steeler Nation multimedia and the 3-point stance. So, I mean, if there's any last second questions or anything like that for me, again, it says 3-point stance big news. We've decided to keep you on your toes. Keep you on your toes. I gave you guys' guess. If you weren't here to see the guess or the hint to who it could be, then you're gonna have to backtrack and find it. I'm sorry to keep you on your toes, but maybe tune in to Twitter today. Maybe I have a cover art for this said episode on who we had. All I will say is this person was all I will say is great human being, great person we had on the show. I had high hopes for DG. Yeah, and it was something him and I talked about when I had him on my original show is man, he was sort of filling in that Zach Banner role for us a little bit, as far as that 6th offensive lineman. And then he got his opportunity against, I believe it was Cincinnati, like 2 weeks before he got cut, and he showed out. I mean, he showed out. Like you said, he's massive. Like, you watch a USFL game when he's playing, and I mean, he's a guy, and I'm rooting for nothing but the best for him. I hope he makes it back into the league, and gets that opportunity again. Hopefully, it's with Pittsburgh. I will always be a fan of Derwin. No matter where he goes, I consider him a brother. Yeah, I wouldn't pass that relationship up for many things. Deshaun Watson, that's your guess? Oof. I hate to tell you this, Marcos. He blocked me on Twitter. And that's not because I was trying to get him on the podcast, if you catch my drift. That's I'll say no further. I remember that Bengals game. He was moving people. Yeah, exactly. Yep. He's a guy. He can move people. I mean, he's a big guy. We've all seen it. He wants to be back in the league. He wants to be a Steeler again. So hopefully that's where his journey ends up. And, we could say, or I guess, no, I'll say we could say we have a current Steeler as a podcast host with myself of the 3-Point Stance podcast. But again, yeah, we'll just see. We'll see if it pans out. I hope it does. Even if he's not a Steeler, he's with some other NFL team. I won't root for that team, but I will root for Derwin. He's done a lot for me. He's done a lot for this podcast. And yeah, I can say he's probably one of my best friends. Yeah, that's all I'll really say before I get too emotional for you guys. But yeah, I mean, we'll kind of end the show with that. I don't know. I had fun, and oh wait, what is? I don't. He might be a kick returner. We don't know. But again, kick returning is about to be irrelevant in the NFL, anyways, with the new rules getting involved. It's stupid, but not your comment. Just what the NFL is going with. I followed you on Twitter, same name. Let's see. Robert. You need to have my boy Robert on here, bro. LOL. Are you referring to a Steelers player or? I'm going to answer this and then I am logging off. I got some steaks to cook. Oh, oh, yeah. You know what? That's a good point, Robert. You keep tuning in every week that we do this, and yeah, we might have to have you on with these takes you have. Breed some hot topics into the 3 Point Stance podcast. But again, as I get ready to sign off, that's, I mean, I don't have much to say, I just wonder who that guest could be. And, you'll just never know. You'll never know who that guest is. And stay tuned. Peace.